Welcome to Now Loading for the week of August 19th, 2013. We have a lot of stuff to cover this week, so we're not going to waste any time. Let's get right into the releases. Now, I personally wondered how long it would take before a company copied the Skylanders formula. I always figured that it would be Nintendo to be the first to do so with something Pokemon related, but it isn't, and it doesn't surprise me at all that Disney has stepped to the plate with Disney Infinity. Think Skylanders, but instead of all the crazy original characters, you have all of Disney's biggest and most popular faces being summoned in the game. It's a perfect fit, really, when you think about it, and something that will undoubtedly be on the top of every kid's wish list this holiday season. Just like Skylanders, Disney Infinity has a portal that connects to your various game systems, and you collect figures that can be placed on the portal and summoned in the game to be controlled. We're talking familiar faces from franchises like Toy Story, Monsters University, Phineas and Ferb, Pirates of the Caribbean, and even Cars. The amount of content that could potentially be brought to this game is absolutely endless. There are always new Disney movies coming, and quite a backlog of characters and IPs that can be tapped in for fresh additions to the game. Sure, it has its problems, as I outlined in my review on Gaming Nexus last week, but at the same time, Saints Row 4 is an absolute ton of fun. Volition seems to have finally accepted the game's role in this industry, not as a GTA-style clone, but as an adventure that pokes fun at the rest of the industry. Think of it as the gaming industry's National Lampoon's franchise. The fourth entry of the series sees you ascending to a seat in the White House as the President of the United States, although shortly after taking office, you're going to have to contend with an alien invasion that turns the whole world upside down. There are so many hilarious references at some of your favorite games and movies that it is nearly impossible to keep count. We're talking Mass Effect, Infamous, Gears of War, Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, The Matrix, you name it, they are all fair game for the Saints to mock and ridicule in your adventure. You can easily get lost in this world just playing around and not even pursuing the main story, which is exactly what's going to make it so popular. Grab a friend and don't hesitate to venture back into Steelport this week. Now, after re-establishing itself as an industry juggernaut with a fantastic remake of the original game last year, XCOM is back this time with a new original title. The Bureau, XCOM Declassified, puts you in the shoes of Special Agent William Carter, who works for the U.S. Bureau of Strategic Emergency Command. You are tasked with investigating and putting a stop to an extraterrestrial incursion that is taking place on American soil. Now, the game is set back in the 1960s, so it's going to focus not only on the scientific and action aspect of the series, but it's also going to touch on some political issues. The fighting game phenomenon that has taken the trade show circuit by storm over the past year is finally being released. Divekick is here for the PS3, Vita, and PC. No fancy special moves, no fireballs, no ridiculous 40,000 hit attack string combinations, just kicking the living crap out of your opponent. In the game's most popular mode, First Strike wins, so it becomes a test of wits and patience, as well as your quick thinking between you and your opponent to see who can land the first blow and score the win. Now, the PS3 and Vita versions of the game support full cross-buy and cross-play functionality, meaning one purchase will net you both versions, and those players will be playing together online. The sixth entry in Tom Clancy's critically acclaimed Splinter Cell series is here with Blacklist. Directly following the events of Conviction, Blacklist chronicles the formation of 4th Echelon, a new special operations and counterterrorism unit meant to replace the corrupt 3rd Echelon that the previous games chronicled. Now, this unit, which is led by series staple Sam Fisher, must track down and eliminate a deadly group of 12 terrorists known as the Engineers, as they execute a series of escalating attacks all over the world. It has been more than 20 years since the classic Flashback was released on a variety of platforms. This week, an updated version that has been spearheaded by one of the game's original developers is hitting the Xbox Live Arcade. This is the original experience completely reimagined with new visuals and gameplay aspects to bring it up to date for the current console market. Now, the original game is also included in the package for those who want to relive one of the greatest games of the early 90s. While the game is being released on the Xbox Live Arcade as a part of the Summer of Arcade program this week, a PlayStation Network release is also planned for later this year. On the news front, I have a little bit of an apology to give. I gave a bit of a tease last week noting that I was heading out to a special event that I would hopefully be talking about a little bit later. Well, I'll tell you, I had the pleasure of attending Activision and Microsoft's Call of Duty Ghosts multiplayer reveal out in Los Angeles, California last week. I had high hopes of getting some special footage and videos up during my trip, but unfortunately ended up being very limited in terms of what I was allowed to capture, so that didn't really happen. That doesn't mean that I don't have information to share though. Now, I'm not going to rehash the details and announcements made out of the event. You can find those all over the internet and over at GamingNexus.com. I will tell you, though, that I spent many hours hands-on with the Xbox One version of the upcoming game, and I walked away quite impressed. Activision has tasked none other than Infinity Ward to lead the charge into the next generation of consoles with Ghosts, and this is something that the developer is certainly not taking lightly. Infinity Ward is trying very hard to freshen up the Call of Duty experience, not only with new content, but new gameplay and enhancements that should help bring the game up to par with the competition. The most notable change in the game is the enhanced interaction with your environment. No longer do you feel like you have full control over a character in a pretty much blocky world, although they have looked good. Now you can truly interact with the world around you and take advantage of the environment in a variety of ways. You can now do things such as vaulting over objects like benches or banisters without losing your ability to defend yourself, and you can effectively use cover now thanks to a new contextual leaning system. These are simple things that the series has really lacked in the past, and it really makes a difference in battle. There's also a new knee slide ability that makes maneuvering around the battlefield far more strategic and effective, and it helps you maintain your offense at all times. You never feel like a sitting duck anymore. The levels themselves are also changing as the game is introducing new catastrophic events that will alter the landscape of the level during each battle. Be it something as simple as a satellite falling out of the sky that eliminates one team's radar, or a landscape leveling explosion that will alter the terrain entirely, these are game-changing events that can easily turn the tide for one team or another. I had an absolute ton of fun during the game and feel the need to mention that this is coming from somebody who really didn't care for the Black Ops 2 experience. Ghost should be just what I need to pull me back into the Call of Duty fold, and I'm really looking forward to picking it up when it launches this November. We'll have more information about the game in the coming months leading up to its release. And as always, for more information on all these games and much more, make sure you head on over to GamingNexus.com.